Hello, and welcome to Studio 300's Be Your Own DJ, sponsored by Fountaindale Public Library. I'm your instructor, Justin, and in this tutorial, I'll be showing you some different techniques involved in learning how to DJ. So let's get started. When it comes to DJing, there could be a number of knobs and buttons that you have access to, but you only need to be familiar with a few. Let's take a look. Now, the layout of your equipment might vary from mine, depending on the type of DJ equipment you have. First, you have the platter or jog wheel, which controls the audio when the wheel is touched and moved. The play-pause button, which starts and pauses playback. The channel volume, which adjusts the volume of the individual channels in the software. The master volume, which adjusts the volume of the master mix coming from the software. The crossfader, which controls the blend between the two decks. And finally, the pitch fader, which controls the tempo or speed of the individual decks. Now let's talk about mixing. But first, you need to know the importance of beats per minute, or BPM. Now, when you're transitioning from one song to another, it's important that you know the BPM for both songs, and that it's the same or as close a number. Now let's learn how to count beats per minute. Now we could count the rhythm of the beat for a whole minute, or we could just simply count it for 15 seconds and then multiply it by 4. Let's give it a try. So I already have my song loaded up and the timer set for 15 seconds. So as soon as the song comes in, I'll start my timer and start counting along with the beat. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right? So I got the number 22, and if I multiply that by 4, I get 88, which means that our song has 88 beats per minute. Now, in order to be a good DJ, you have to be able to seamlessly transition from one song to the next. And there's two basic ways you can do this, either by slamming or blending. Slamming is when you use the crossfader to bring the next track in without any hesitation. Let me show you an example. And there you have it, the slam. Blending involves matching the BPM of both tracks so that you can fade the next song in while fading the current one out. Here's an example. Now, in order to match both BPMs, I need to use the pitch fader. There you have it, blending. Last but not least is one of the most important skills in the DJ's arsenal, the scratch. Scratching involves manipulating audio by using the jog wheel or the DJ platter to produce a distorted sound. Some examples include the baby scratch, the scribble, and the drag. Let's see how these are performed. So let's begin with the most simple scratch, the baby scratch. So with the baby scratch, it's one of your most fundamental scratches and is often used to transition from one song to the next, whether you're doing a slam or if you're trying to blend. You can also use it to accentuate the background instrumental that you're playing at the time as well. So the way to do the baby scratch is you can either have your deck either paused or playing. So I'm going to keep it paused just for simplicity's sake. And so what you want to do is you want to begin by putting your fingertips on the platter. Now, you don't necessarily have to press hard, and you definitely don't want your whole hand on the platter, just your fingertips with your hand raised a little bit. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start at what we call like the 9 o'clock position, and you're going to go move your hand forward all the way up to the 11 o'clock position. Now, even before that, what you want to do is you actually want to find a good sound bite to use as your scratch. Now, you can either use something, I usually try to use something like a snare or even a kick drum. That'll sound good and work good as a scratch. So like I was saying, you want to put your hand or your fingertips at the 9 o'clock position and move it up to the 11 o'clock position and then back to the 9 o'clock position. So we go 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Or what you can do is you can count 1 and 2 and go 1, 2, 1, and 2. Now you don't want to go all the way up to 12 because what you'll probably do is you'll go into the next sound bite and it could mess up your scratch. So you want to kind of keep it in that section. And in order to do that, you just, like I said, move it up from 9 to 11. So it'll go 1, 2, 1, 2. After that, you can actually double time and go a little bit faster. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, now let's try that with a beat and see what it sounds like. I actually have this instrumental queued up, so let's go. Now, as I said before, what you're going to do is you're going to put your fingertips at the 9 o'clock position, move it up to 11, so it'll go 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And so what you want to do is you actually want to kind of be in rhythm with the beat, so it'll make your scratch that more effective. So once again, put your fingers on the platter. And you want to catch the beat like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And there you have it. That's how you do the baby scratch. All right, now let's take a look at the scribble. So the scribble is just like the baby scratch. The only difference is that it's a little bit faster. Where with the baby scratch, what we're doing is we're putting our fingers on the platter. We're going from 9 to 11 o'clock. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What we're doing with the scribble is we're going even faster than that. We're not necessarily going all the way to the 11 o'clock position. We have to keep it a little bit shorter so we can actually do it faster. So like I said, with the baby scratch, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now with the scribble, what you're going to do is you're going to go much faster and double time it. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So now let's try that with a beat and see what it sounds like. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put the same beat on and see what it sounds like with the scribble scratch instead. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the baby scratch. We're going to start with the first version of the baby scratch, go a little bit faster, and then we'll go into the scribble. So we're going to catch the beat like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, faster, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, into the scribble. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's how you do the scribble. Last but not least is the drag. Now the drag is the total opposite of the baby scratch and the scribble in that you're actually moving slower rather than faster. So we're still going to use the count of 1 and 2, but going forward is going to actually be the total 1 and 2 count. So just like before, what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand on the platter, or your fingertips on the platter, I should say, and you're actually going to go past the 10 and the 11 o'clock mark all the way up to the 12 o'clock mark. So you're going to go for a count of 2, going 1, 2, and then you're actually also going to go 3 and 4. When you go back to the original 9 o'clock position, 3, 4. So let's try that again. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you, just as before, don't want to go past the mark. Now it's going to still sound all right, but you're going to miss your timing if you go past that mark. It's going to be harder for you to bring it back to that 9 o'clock position if you overextend. So we're going to go once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. Now, once again, let's go ahead and try it with some music and see what it sounds like. Same track. So we're going to put our fingertips on the platter, start at the 9 o'clock position, hand raised, and move to that 12 o'clock position. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like that. And there you have it, the drag. So there you have it. We just covered some basic controls, mixing, and scratching. So now you should have some basic skills to help you on your way to becoming a better DJ. Until then, stay motivated, stay safe.